Hello, everybody. Let me get let's get that camera looking right and not being so goofy. How's everybody doing? Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy December. How amazing is this? We hit today 100,000 listens to the Thin Within podcast. I am so excited by that. I got up this morning and I was looking at things and I go, oh my gosh, today we hit 100,000 listens to the podcast. And I am really super excited about that. And even curled my hair for y'all. It kind of looks a little goofy today. So I am happy to be with all of you. I am so excited. I am so grateful to all of you who have listened, who have come to, there's something so cool when I talk to people and they go, oh my gosh, Marna, I feel like I already know you. Or Marna, I'm listening to 2 podcasts a day, or I started with number 1 and I'm just going through all of them. I'm like, wow, really great. So I want to thank you so much for helping me make this podcast so successful for so many of you. And thank you for continuing to listen and continuing to either come live or listen or whatever way you are joining me. I am just so grateful to have you. It makes me so happy. It's so nice seeing those of you joining. Hello, everybody. So I'm glad that you like them. I like to give you just these little hits of inspiration as well as tools that are actually practical, psychological, motivational, really based in science. So today we're actually going to do some more work based in science today. And we're going to look at what do you do? Why does it happen that you start the day having these really strong, great intentions for your body, for your weight, what you're going to do, and then by 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, you start to see that waver. What happens? Why is that happening? And you might see this happen where it looks a little bit like you start off excited to do something, and then throughout the week it just wanes, or you feel excited to start something and throughout the month your motivation goes. Now, here is the key. Thank you all for all your sweet compliments. You're very sweet, Kate and Janie and Christine and Kathy, Sandy. Thank you all so much. You all are awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth and Roberta and Paula. So here's the thing that I want you to know. When you go from being so inspired, so excited, feeling like, oh my gosh, this is the moment I'm going to change. This is the time. This is really going to happen for me. To going to that point of, you know what, who cares? Let me just eat it. Let me just have it. The only difference is your thoughts. That's it. Your thoughts are the only difference between you thinking and being excited and you not being so excited and wanting to grab food. What happens before any action is a thought. Okay? So, but now let's look at the science of this, because those of you who have gone through this and have experienced this, you know how frustrating it is to really feel like you're on this roller coaster of telling yourself you are going to make this positive change, and by 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12 o'clock at night, you're like, screw it, I don't want to do it. And then this same thing happens. You start the morning off being like, here we go, and then it happens. So why does this occur? So let's talk about the science of this. So Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman, he discovered that you have 2 different types of minds, okay? You have the fast, instinctual, emotional mind, and that's the part of you that grabs the food. But you also have this slow, deliberate, thinking mind. And that's the part of you that feels like, I got this. I can really lose weight. I am the smart. I'm so brilliant. I'm so capable. So when we know that we have these two different minds working with that has been looked at, and come on, somebody who's a Nobel Prize winner, he's probably got some good science behind him. Then we see that, okay, well then what's happening? So what he discovered is that this slow, deliberate mind is really, really at play first thing in the morning. This is why you have all these brilliant ideas, these exciting thoughts, your energy might be the best, why you can really be deliberate with your intentions and your actions and your thoughts. That's also oftentimes why working out and just doing it first thing in the morning works really well, because that's when you've got this deliberate mind at play. He also discovered that there's that deliberate, slow, intentional mind only has so much bandwidth, so much energy. And when it's used up, it's like a battery. You plug it in the morning and you're ready to rock and roll. And then that battery just starts going and going. And by 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, whenever your battery starts to slow, then that's when he found that, yes, that part of your brain actually then starts shutting down. And it starts being more challenging for you to access. And so in order to really help support the fact that you have that slow, deliberate mind, and you have this fast, instinctual mind, and when your fast, instinctual mind is at play when you're just like, I want it, right? You know that feeling, right, everybody? You know that feeling when you just want to have it. And you're like, I don't care, just have it. Just give it to me. Just have it. You know when it's at play because it acts like that. Now, there may be a thought, like I said, in front of it. And the thought may be, who cares? Let's have it. And then you eat it. But you know when it's at play. So the brilliance of understanding this, of brilliance of his discovery is, well, then how do we deal with this? How do we deal with that part of your brain that is both fast and is slow? So the way he talks about helping support this is by front loading your day. Support yourself by front loading your day. So I like to, of course, use this and think about this from a weight and a weight loss standpoint and understanding the brain and the mind. And then looking at, okay, well, how can you start supporting yourself to be consistent in the evenings and focused and powerful and motivated and inspired in the evenings, just like you are in the mornings? Well, there is still a dip. There might be a natural dip, but I want to give you some tools today so you can be thinking about what you can do in your day to help you front load your day more efficiently, more effectively, using and supporting your fast intellectual, emotional mind later on in the day. So, for some of you, you might want to take notes because this is really where you feel like you are on this hamster wheel where every day you're having the same conversation. How many of you can relate to that? I'd love to see if you can relate to feeling like, here we are again, different day, different time, here we are again, or different day, same time, here we are, I want to eat sugar, it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, let's do this. Okay, so one of the things that will help you is if you can have a plan in the morning for your dinner. I don't know about you, but for whatever reason, when I start getting tired, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, thinking about dinner, planning dinner, it's like the last thing I want to do at that 5, 6 o'clock time period. It is. if I plan it, so Teresa, you totally get that. If I plan things out in the morning, like, okay, at least I'm gonna thaw some chicken out, or I'm gonna Instapot some chicken tonight, or even if I talk to my husband because he happens to be here during the day right now, I can always say, okay, let's talk about just thawing out some stuff. Then I know I have this plan. And when I don't know about you, but when I just know that the weight of dinner is off my shoulders, especially for me having a family, or even for you if you're single, if that weight is off my shoulders, I'm just like, it's like, oh, we're going to have leftover night. We're going to have a big salad or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. If I just know what I'm doing, that mental energy that I'm thinking about it all day long, what am I going to do for the kids? What's going to be healthy for them? It goes away. So if you can plan in the morning what you're going to do in the evening for dinner, awesome. Now, for those of you who are late night snackers, you want just to be, you just want that yumminess in your mouth late at night, and then you're making yourself wrong about it, and then you're waking up in the morning and you're saying, why did I do that? Let's not make you wrong, but let's come up with a plan. So one of the strategies that you could use is you could take little baggies and you could portion things out that are like an amount that feels realistic to you. If you're like, really? 2 Reese's Pieces? That's not realistic. But 6 are, 10 are, great. Then baggie them out. And then you know, late at night, you're grabbing your baggie. And it has an amount that will work for your mind, your body, that will help support you. Instead of having the whole bag of Reese's, you're having just a few. You're having 8, 10. Great. So helping yourself in the evening realistically, in a realistic way. It's challenging to say, I'm never going to have anything late at night when you've just spent the last, 15 years having something late at night. To go from one extreme to the other. Can you do it? Of course you can. But if you keep spiraling and you're on this hamster wheel, then let's start making this a little easier for you. Let's make it happen and work to help support you looking at what's realistic. I'd rather you portion out 10 and have 10 of the Hershey's Kisses and then move it to 8 and move it to 7 and move it to 5 and move it to 2, or find somewhere that you're like, you know what, 5's really good every night. That works really well for me. Feel real good. Then you have a plan. But what happens is when this quick, fast brain pops in, it's just going to grab a bag. And your mind and your hand doesn't necessarily care if that bag is, the whole bag is not going to portion it out then a lot of times, because it's just like, gimme, I want, I have to. Right? Many of my clients are talking about this. Inner Circle members, you're talking about this, right? You're talking about, okay, why do I plan, or I want to plan, but I don't want to plan at 7 o'clock at night. No, do it in the morning. Do it in the morning. Have it all set up for you for at night. Okay? Help support yourself in the morning to be successful at night. Now, we use a term called future pacing a lot in my work. Future pacing is seeing yourself successful, seeing that you can achieve this. So, the more you can set up your evening in your mind in a way that you want it to be, like in all of your lives, you are not envisioning a light, thin, healthy you that's overeating late at night. I know you're not. That is not part of the plan. But have you mentally rehearsed what it is that you would like to see happen? What you would like to see occur? Are you doing that for yourself? Are you seeing, oh, you know what? Tonight I'm going to have a nice luxurious bath, or I'm going to take a nice shower, relax myself, jump into bed, sip on some tea, read my favorite book. How many of you are mentally rehearsing your evenings when your brain, that slow, deliberate, conscious brain, is alive and well? And I think the answer is that many of you are not. And what we know is where you go in the brain, you can go in your life. Where you go in your brain, you can follow suit with your actions. And when we make it easy to just rehearse it and see it, oh, I'm going to be successful and I'm feeling good and I'm feeling amazing and I'm seeing myself relaxing in front of the TV and I'm having tea or I'm having Spindrift and I'm having lemon water and I'm feeling super relaxed and maybe I'm having my 4 little Hershey's Kisses and there you go. That's my evening. What did that take? Less than a minute? The more you mentally rehearse this, when your brain is capable of doing that, the better off you will see in terms of your results following suit. Okay? So if you've been wondering, wow, what is wrong with me? If you've been telling yourself you're broken, if you've been wondering what is going on inside of my relationship with food late at night, why is it that I don't care? Why is it that I just grab food? Now you know. And knowledge is power. And understanding that conscious, deliberate, slow planning mind of yours is weakened in the latter half of the day, and it needs your help. It needs your help by front loading your day, by being powerful in the morning, by supporting it. So the more you can support it by thawing out stuff and getting ready and getting planned for making your evening successful, you will be likely to be much more successful. And then the amazing thing is you start building in consistency with your actions, which means weight loss. You start feeling better about your evenings, which means weight loss. You stop overeating in the evenings, which means weight loss. And it keeps you moving and motivated and excited to keep seeing results. Okay? So I want to answer any questions that you have on this. I hope this was really, really helpful. Some questions that you might want to ask yourself are, what are 2 things you could do in the morning to make food preparation easier for you in the evening? What are 2 things that you can do for yourself in the morning to make food preparation easier for you in the evening? And what are 2 to 3 things you could do to make your evenings successful for you? What could you do? What are 2 to 3 things you could do to make your evenings meals easier, healthier, successful, or your nights just easier for you? And all of a sudden, when you go, oh, I got it. These are my 2. Now, will it solve everything? Could you have well-intended plan and in the evening you go, I still want food? Yeah, it could happen. But the more you mentally rehearse success, the more you have a plan, the more you have some of these things that you're grabbing anyway that are portioned out so that now you, instead of having the whole bag or having 20, you're having 10 and you're enjoying them mindfully and tasting them and getting some joy or comfort or numbing out from them. Fine. I want this to be realistic and doable. When something's realistic and doable, there's no resistance. I hope you're clear on that. When something is enjoyable and doable, there's no resistance. The key is that what you don't want to be where you're going totally unconscious and there's no enjoyment because there's no mindfulness, there's no connections. You're totally mindless in your actions. You're totally unconscious. So bringing that, grabbing a bag and going, oh, this is great. I'm so excited to have my bag. of snacks tonight. Great. How does that feel? Then all of a sudden, tomorrow night, you just go, oh my God, you know what's so great about this? I didn't have 40 of them. I had 10. Or I had 5. Then you ease it down. One week, can you do 10? Then the next week, can you do 8? And then the next week, can you do 5? And then the next week, right? How fun is that? And then can you also have the tea or lemon water there so that you start then replacing it? So this will be very, very helpful. For those of you who say, yes, I plan my weekly meals over the weekend, not always perfect at it, but it helps a lot and less grocery trips. Yes. Awesome. Awesome, Leslie. Awesome, Elizabeth. This is great. Genia said, fail to plan, plan to fail. Heard that from my physical therapist who taught me some eating tips. Yeah, I don't want to even put failure out into the world. We're just planning so that you can be successful and lose weight. We're making it easier for your brain to step into its best self, and you deserve that. So this is brain science, everybody. This is understanding how your brain functions in this world and why you've just been acting out of your fast brain late at night when it doesn't want to make decisions. Do you ever feel like that? You ever feel like, I've made 5,000 decisions today? The last thing I want to do is make another decision about dinner. Please, let's just order in. I do not want to. What do you want to order? I don't care. Get anything. I'll tell my husband, right? I don't care. Get anything. I don't care. I don't want to make a decision. I don't want to make another decision. That's when you know my conscious, deliberate brain is out of gas. It's way out of gas. So the more I can front load, the more I can make it easier on everybody else, my family, on them, and whatnot. So make it really easy for you. I love that you found some yummy cocoa, hot cocoa for the evening. Awesome. Awesome. I know, Teresa, that was something you were really working on. That's great. That's great. That's fantastic. See, when you find that thing in the evening, if that's, let's say, a trouble area, which so many of you share with me, that dinner and late night eating are really the hot spots for you. And so when you finally find that thing and you're like, yep, that's my thing. It tastes great. I love it. I feel totally psychologically, physically satisfied. I'm not adding a big caloric load to my body. And you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like, oh gosh, I feel the pain of what I just did to myself last night. You know you're in then you're seeing the weight go down, down, down. That is when you're feeling like you're in the zone. Awesome. That's fantastic. Fantastic. So I want all of you to walk away today thinking about these questions. What can you do to front load your day? What could you do today to make your evening tonight easier on you? How are you going to help ensure that it's not a feeding frenzy, that it's not a late night, and for those of you who do not eat late at night, amazing. That is amazing. Then I want you to consider what to do. Help yourself make your evenings easier. How do the naturally thin eat dessert? Great question, Leslie. So, or how often? Oh, your question. How often do the naturally thin eat dessert? Well, they don't have a schedule. There's no schedule like on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm naturally thin. I'm going to eat dessert. The naturally thin are very, if they like sweets, then they oftentimes will save a little room at dinner for something sweet. So I'll hear people say, but here's the thing. It's not this overly consumptive amount of food. It's a couple pieces of chocolate. It's a few, a thing of ice cream. It's a little bit. So it could be every night that the naturally thin have dessert, or it could be never. It could be, hey, I don't really like dessert, but I really like some chips. So here and there, I have chips. And they just eat them when they're hungry with a sandwich or with, see, nothing's off limits. There's no reason for it to be, right? They're thin. They've never, unless they really want to focus on health or they're seeing that their numbers need some, some shifting, then they may make some adjustments, but the naturally thin are thin. So there's nothing that's really off limits unless it makes them feel terrible. If they go, oh, I really love cheesecake, but when I have it, I feel like total crap, then they're not going to have cheesecake, or they'll find a substitute, or they'll find something that tastes like it, or it's just like a very, very rare indulgent moment. But there are naturally thin people that have sweet tooth. There are naturally thin people that do not have a sweet tooth, and that, dinner's it and they're done and they don't even think about sugar or anything like that. And there are other naturally thin people who have no problem, could consume a fair amount of sugar. It's just that they're listening. They're hungry for it. They don't do it just to be doing it. Typically, it's typically not something that is just a grab and have. It may happen here and there, but it's so seldom. It's like, remember, only 2% of the time are they eating for any other reason besides hunger. 2%. So that's 2 out of every 100 meals, which is a couple times a month maybe, where they walk by something and grab it, or they're eating something and it's so good and they maybe eat a little bit more than their body needs, and then they hate the way that feels, so then they don't do that again. My grandfather, who was totally naturally thin and like $140, like 140 pounds, like just tiny little thing, and maybe he was like 126 pounds. I don't know what he was. He was a little tiny thing, and he would just have like one little bar of chocolate at the end of dinner. And it was like, those little like a nugget. No, I think that's not what they're called, those little nuggets. Just have one little nugget. And that's it. That would be his dessert. And then sometimes later after dinner, some nights he'd have a piece of fruit if he was hungry again. That was it. Now, would you catch him sometimes having a bowl of ice cream or something like that? Sure. But mostly that was the habit. One little piece of chocolate. And that was it. So let me see some of your questions. So a normal portion, so as long as I'm still hungry. Correct. Absolutely. Naturally thin action. Makes me jealous. He's not hungry because he just had dinner, but it's the sweet taste he likes to top off his meal. Yeah, so that's fine. So you can always do that. Listen, there is a difference between being overly full and then having a ton of dessert. That is like going to expand your stomach, right? Remember, your stomach is like a muscle. So that's going to expand your stomach. So if you've eaten a nice little, a lovely amount for your body when your body was hungry, you enjoyed it, and then you have a little piece of chocolate, beautiful. Even if you're not like, I'm starving for it, even if you had a little bit, that's very different. There's something when I was losing weight and I was like, there was difference between my mind that was when I was just like I'm talking about today, where it's this quick grab, compulsive overeater me versus this lighter, in control, have a nice little piece of chocolate, have a few Hershey Kisses that are mindful and focused versus this and this like out of control eating piece. So I would encourage you, it's connecting with the behavior and the energy. The energy. Is the energy frenetic? Is it in that fast brain, just grab it energy? Or is it like this, like mindful, eating, enjoyable, present way of being. Okay? Okay? So, I want to encourage all of you to be thinking about the energy. What's the energy, the vibe, the experience that you want in your evenings? And then future pace it. Okay, I want it to look like this. I'm going to future pace. I'm going to see myself making that happen. It's like going unconscious with a bag of chips versus having a little bag and having them and going, oh my God, that is so tasty. And then having another one and be like, that is so good. Right? There's a difference. And I think, and the more that you align yourself with that energy of control, of loveliness, of mindfulness, there's something very beautiful and holistic and spiritual inside of that way of being. None of you would be like super excited to be filmed in a movie where you're unconsciously eating. Right? You'd want it to be like, oh, yes, I'm happy to have the world see me eat. And you're not like going to be like this. You're going to be like, a little like the queen, a little like lovely, a little head up, tasting, enjoying your food. That is that part of your brain, right, that we're talking about, the conscious, slow, intentional part of you, wanting to access more of that in that part of you and make it easier for when your fast, quick brain just wants a hit of food, that it has an opportunity to grab a bag that has these 5, 10 pieces of chocolate or a small bag of popcorn or whatever it is to be successful with. Okay? All right? Okay. So, practice this. Think about, where could you front load your day? How can you make it easier on yourself so that you can be successful? You can keep on your path of losing weight. All right? You got this. You got this. But sometimes I know how nice it is to go, oh, I'm not broken. There's not something wrong with me. There's actually a reason why it is what I'm doing, why it is that I've been showing up this way. Oh, this is why. And this is what I need. And this is some of the tools that I can use to help support me to be lighter, healthier, more in control, and feeling better about myself. All right? So enjoy. Try this out. Share what is working for you. I'd love to hear. And then I will be back here next Wednesday giving you another tip or tool to help you think, eat, or live thin. Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.